So it's no Wi-Fi?
It doesn't want to anywhere.
Yeah, but I can see.
Yeah, but it still doesn't get any code, so we don't have to figure out how to go for it. It never worked, it's so slow and so buggy. And you started the stream, and you ended the stream by itself. And I remember the disk is always on.
I can see the lights on.
The lights on, but it's on.
So, good evening everyone, and good evening to those who are joining us online this evening. So we'll begin with the first part of the evening chanting in English on page 19 of the dark brown book. And we'll follow that by the highest blessings on page 46 of the same book. To the Blessed One, the Lord, who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he expounded so well, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha, homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One, homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One, homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. So, page 46, the highest blessings. Now let us chant the verses on the highest blessings. Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta's Grove, in Atapindika's park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant deva, illuminated old Jeta's grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honouring those worthy of honour. These are the highest blessings. Living in places of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings. Accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings. Providing for mother and father's support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings. Generosity and a righteous life, offering help to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings. Steadfast in restraint and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings. Respectfulness and being of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings. Patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings. Ardent committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself the noble truths, and the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings. Although in contact with the world, unshaken the mind remains. Beyond all sorrow, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. They who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. So beginning a period of meditation, opportunity to turn our attention inward to the experience of the mind and body in this present moment. And this is a good way to begin, is just actually bringing the light of awareness to what is manifesting in mind and body in this moment. This is instead of maybe approaching meditation with the idea to get something or get rid of something, get an experience we've had in the past, or get rid of something we're experiencing in the present. And just first bringing awareness to the physical body. Maybe beginning with the posture. So a posture is conducive to meditation is one that's upright, but not tense. Upright but relaxed. So, like the face, the jaw, keeping that relaxed. The shoulders relaxed, the elbows hanging. And like the upper body just resting on the torso. So maintaining an upright posture, but one that's not tense. If we open our eyes, we should be looking at the hall a few meters ahead of us and not looking at the floor in front of us. And one way we can bring awareness to the physical body is like following the breath in. So follow the breath into the nose or mouth. And being aware of the breath, the effects on the physical body as as breath moves downwards. Expansion of the chest, movement of the abdomen, feeling the buttocks on the seat or cushion. And just bringing our awareness to how we're experiencing the energies in the body in this present moment, bringing our awareness to that. Where do we feel the energies more in the body? What are the more prominent sensations? So areas where we might experience certain energies like the throat, heart, solar plexus. And this can be helpful because, some of these feelings in the body, are often related to the mind, the state of mind. For example, energy in the stomach associated with like fear, anxiety. Love and hate at the heart, maybe. Restless agitation around the throat. just spend a few moments just tuning in with the experience of the body as we're experiencing it now. Say, follow the breath in, down into the body is a way we can do that. Feeling the expansion of the body with the in-breath and the contraction with the out-breath. And with the attitude of just accepting the way it is, like we accept the breath coming in, we accept the breath flowing out. So in the same way, accepting the experience of the body in the present moment as it is. So we can use the mindfulness of the body to establish a certain level of present moment awareness. Maybe now we can notice maybe other things. One thing, just like the feeling tone of the present moment. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Now, it's natural that we wanting to get rid of the unpleasant, but I'm suggesting be willing to investigate. Say, breathe with the unpleasantness if we are experiencing something unpleasant. Accepting it the way it is. And, acceptance of something is really the stepping stone to allowing things to transform in a good way. Like allowing the unpleasantness and the causes of the unpleasantness to cease. It doesn't cease by trying to get rid of it. but learning to more peacefully observe is the way to allow something to cease. In the same way, if we experience something pleasant, that's going to change too. So not to get excited over a pleasant experience, but just to breathe in and out with that. So find the balance of this awakeness that doesn't want to get rid of unpleasant and doesn't want to cling to the pleasant. And this is more peaceful observation. We can't always have things, pleasant. Things will sometimes be unpleasant. But what we can cultivate is peace. A steadiness of peaceful awareness. Bringing awareness to the experience of mind in the present moment. And the sort of thoughts that are tending to arise indicate the sort of mind state. And this is natural, thoughts will arise. Again, if we approach meditation, we're trying to get rid of thoughts. Then, this probably will create more thoughts. But just learning to be aware of the thoughts that are tending to manifest in the present moment. Or images, any visual things that manifest. But the skill is not to get carried away with these thoughts or images. You cultivate that sense of seeing how these things arise and pass away in the present moment. So yesterday evening, Ajahn Hingsako gave a talk about balance and the example of a lute. If the lute strings are too tight, it doesn't play a good song. If the lute strings are too slack, it doesn't play a good song. So a skilled lute tuner would know the balance between not too tight and not too slack. And the same is with meditation, the effort we make in meditation. If it's too much effort, then we get tense and the mind tends to get restless. Too little effort, maybe the mind just drifts, wanders, and we can fall into sleepy states. So how to find that balance of effort? And that effort is, the effort to be present, not to get rid of something, but to maintain a sense of present moment awareness. If there's no effort, one tends to just drift. But too much effort, then things get tense. And I suggest that when we do find that balance, then it makes meditation a better experience. The meditation could say manifests a better tune. But if we're, willfully trying to get rid of something, trying to get something, maybe the experience of meditation will be not very pleasant. We'll get tense, headaches. But just the peaceful effort to stay present, not get carried away with thoughts, images, but coming gently back to the breath, to the body. Using that to keep us grounded in the present moment. And this is the way of patience. Patiently keep bringing the mind back to the present moment, bringing our awareness back to the present moment. sometimes we begin a period of meditation and the mind, staying in the present moment a bit more. But of course, as time goes on, and we're developing a practice, the mind can start wandering a lot again, and a lot of distracting thoughts. And maybe a way of approaching this is to, say, use a skillful thought to replace the distracting thoughts. And this can be done with the in and out breath. And just some reflection that might, resonate with us. And for example, breathing in with the thought, may I be well. Breathing out with the thought, may all beings be well. Breathing in with the thought, breathing in peace. Breathing out with the thought, breathing out peace. And this can be like just a reminder about, the way we relate to ourselves with kindness. And also our aspiration to cultivating peacefulness with the way it is. Anyway, these are just examples, but we can use a contemplation in the meditation to replace the distracting thoughts. So we can finish with the chant on page 34, verses on the sharing of merit, for those who like to join in English. I was just reflecting that many moons ago, 1978 to the middle of 1979, on a Sunday night I used to go to the Hampstead Vihara. Not too far from where I live, but still a bit of a drive and a bit of a thing to get there on public transport. But of course in those days, the then Ajahn Sumedho and Venerable Sujito, quite young monk in those days, and I'd go there on a Sunday night, chanting, meditation, listening to some Dhamma reflections. And over the time of doing that, I can see how this sort of practice did benefit the people around me in terms of I became a bit more skillful with my speech at work. Didn't get caught into all the backbiting and frivolousness, and it helped me to be more skillful in my working life. So that's why I see our practice can benefit in terms of the way we are with other people and the way we relate to other people. And maybe that can also set an example for other people. So that's why I used to go on Sunday night to set up the mind in a skillful way for the week ahead. So this is why, just reflecting, this is why this verse of sharing and aspirations, that what we do cultivate not only benefits ourselves but benefits others. And then also in this chant about, encouraging ourselves to continue with the practice, to keep it going. So this is why we have this chant of the verses of sharing and aspirations. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all cravings and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. So we could finish with the closing homage. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Say good night to those who joined us online.